Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Hobby Dude 007 channel. I'm going to do a quick shop card shout out today, take a look at the cover of IPMS Journal for this month, and talk some 3D printing for a second. And I want to introduce you to a new project. We'll be starting today. Stick around, guys. First up, a shop card shout out to my good buddy Fred Henry at West Georgia Rods and Customs. Check out that Pro Street Vet. Is that not wicked? Now, let me tell you, if you want to know something about Pro Street and you're not a subscriber or you don't know about West Georgia Rods and Customs, you need to head over there, guys, and check it out. If you want to get in on Pro Street builds and learn a lot about them, this is the guy to learn it from. He is the master. Fred is an awesome guy, as you can see here, a prolific builder. This is just a magnificent piece of work here. Fred's been around a while. I can't imagine anybody not knowing about him, but if you're not a subscriber or you haven't checked out his videos, head over there and check him out. And if you're a NASCAR builder in any division, this year, the 2023 NASCAR Build-Off, or Group Build, is hosted by Fred and Jeff over at Jeff's Model Garage. Head over and check that out. Go to the Facebook page. Just put in 2023 NASCAR Group Build, and it'll come up. These guys have got a great idea. The builds actually started a couple of weeks ago at the Daytona 500 opening of the season, and it's going to go until the last race of the season. Hopefully everybody will have one or more done by the Atlanta show, the Acme show, because one of their main themes is NASCAR this year. So perfect timing. Fred, thank you so much for the shop card. This will go with my other collection. He also sent, check that out, Fred Henry's West Georgia Rods and Custom. Got me a sticker there, so good. And for this next one that he sent, I'm going to ask you, cover up the children's eyes and hide the pets. So, having some fun. It's Pappy. Frickin' red baby. So there's Fred. I'm like Jason. I noticed the Scale Auto magazine on the table down here. Fred, I got to question you about the pink telephone though, buddy. But anyway, Fred is an awesome guy. Got a great sense of humor, obviously. And it's all about having fun with the hobby and having fun among friends, too. Fred, love you, brother. Appreciate you very much. Next up, I want to share with you my issue this month, well, every other month, from the IPMS Journal. And on the cover this month is Rob Sorensen's 3D printed performance street machine. Now, check out the carbon fiber on this thing. Well, let me lay it down here where you can see the whole thing. And this, again, is IPMS Journal. If you're not a member of the International Plastic Modeler Society, and, of course, they cover every form of scale modeling, and it's some really good stuff. But check this thing out, a street legal racer, basically. And I love the carbon fiber look. According to the article, this is in 24th scale. I mean, this really, let's get into the inside of it here. And it is a 3D printed kit. And I'll show you where you can, if you have a 3D printer, where you can download the file. But check that thing out. And I also like, sorry about the glare on this, guys. I'm trying to get it where, you notice the helmet with the carbon fiber over the helmet, cockpit out back. That's a V8 back there too, guys. I like the NNL West license plate on it. But I'm sharing this with you, but I want to talk about the 3D printed stuff. Guys, that has changed our hobby so much. 3D printing is such a big thing nowadays. You've heard me promote Shapeways. I've got stuff from them, Top Drawer. Iceman, I've got some engines, great stuff. Miguel, y'all know I support HobbiWerks. He has done some custom stuff for me that has, I just call, tell him what I need, and he has not only given me everything I've asked for, but the quality of it has exceeded my expectations by a long shot. But check that out. 3D printed, guys. Is that not something? And if you're interested in this kit, there's the V8. Now check out these shocks. Is that not something? These are 3D printed too. And if you're interested in this kit, and as you see, and I'm hitting the camera, sorry guys. Let me get this where you can, and you can pause and get the information there. But there's the type of printer he used, and I think that's olive lizzles or something file, and there's the information you need. So you can pause right there and get that if you need it. But 3D printing has come so far, and since I first heard about it probably 10 years ago, I wasn't sure what to think. But can you imagine in just the next year to 5 years to 10 years what this is going to be like? Wow. This is going to be really something. Well, it already is. But anyway, IPMS Journal, great publication. I learned a lot of my weathering techniques going back into the 80s. I've been a member with IPMS for a long time. But a lot of the stuff I learned before we had the internet or YouTube channels, that kind of stuff, from the magazines, whether it was Scale Auto, Fine Scale Model, or IPMS Journal. Great, great stuff. Okay, guys, starting a new project. Like I said, let's get over and check it out. Okay, guys, so we finished up our 70 Roadrunner, and I wanted to do a quick project, not kind of a slump buster, because I'm not in a slump. So I wanted to do something different, but I wanted to do another car. And I was looking through my stash, and I saw this, and it just kind of clicked what I had this for. And I kind of got jazzed because it can be a pretty quick one, and I've already done some modifying to it. Let me get the top off here, and let me show you what I have in mind. You saw in the opening thumbnail, the tile there, that I had the Big Daddy Don Garlits, and this is the Slicks decal set. And let me show you a few of these pictures here. Here you see, this was the Swamp Rat 35, and it's the Don Garlits Drag Pack Dodge Challenger. And this was just cool. It's just a basic white car, black interior. Now this is according to the Drag Pack Challenger. Now this is what's on Slick's decals instruction sheet. This decal sheet is designed to fit either the Revell or AMT Dodge Challenger kit, along with the drag pack hood, which, by the way, they carry competition resins. So you'll notice the hood on the car. Well, when I picked up these decals, I want to say this was in Atlanta a few years ago, but when I picked up the decals, I also went ahead and picked up the Challenger drag pack hood, and it fits beautifully, by the way. Now the thing with this car is, you notice you've got the throttle body type injection carburetor looking thing up here, and I've got some other pictures of it I'll show right here. And when I took all this out originally, I'd already cleaned up a lot of the parts, and a lot of this that's under the hood is going to have to, let me move that box, is going to have to be totally removed, because as you see in this picture, the washer bottles and all of that kind of stuff, the battery's in the trunk with a fuel cell, and I'll show you a picture of that in a moment, but just the kind of a shock tower area there is the only thing. So a lot of this stuff is going to have to be removed. Great chassis detail, by the way. We will be using that. But the interior's got these inside fender wells. And see, all of this, I'll cut all of this off and just add this back, and of course this strap up here. Great body detail. I went ahead and started assembling some of the engine. I'll show you some of that here real quick. I replaced I think I've already taken it out of the box. It's got the coil packs on there. Let's see if I can find it real quick. And let me tell you, if you have not built one of these Revell Challengers, this thing is hyper detailed. Oh, the other good thing about this interior is you see the roll bar configuration here. The back seat is out and there's just that panel there. Well, as you see, the back seat is a separate piece. So that's going to make it easy to do right there. I am going to try to knock this out. The dash is going to have some modifications down in here and here, as you see. This is for another drag pack, this particular picture, so it's not going to be the same with the Garlits because he had the tack sitting up on the dash. But there will be some switches and stuff replacing all of this, the heater and radio and all that stuff down there. And what I was looking for was, there it is, the injector cap that normally goes on the car. I went ahead and replaced it with the high rise, and I redid the heads so they would fit, and then we'll get that this look here. So I am looking forward. You know me and engines. I love these things. So look forward to that. And researching. I got some other pictures that I'll share with you. Toward the end, I'll do a slideshow of the other pictures I have of the drag pack Challengers. But for right now, let me go ahead and get a few other things assembled, and I'll show them to you, and then we'll get them primed. Okay guys, we're back. The drag pack hood from Competition Resins, which like I said you can get from Slicks, is actually, I want to show you this. If you wanted to leave it like an outer box or something, you just mount the hood scoop. It's 2 pieces. Just mount it on the hood and you're set to go. But if you wanted to do it on the high rise, you see there's a place for you to cut out the hood, and it's raised up in the scoop. So you have the room to have that sitting up in there. And I'm really considering doing that. I was going to do it. I wasn't going to be totally out of box, but I was going to do it that way and maybe have the hood set off. But we'll see. But an excellent, excellent piece. I mean, look at that casting. It is smooth. Great resin work. Great resin work. I've gone ahead and marked some things that need to be done. First of all, this front end, as I mentioned, this needs to come off, and just the shock tower mounts there are be the only thing. All the washer bottles, all this stuff, all that stuff needs to be eliminated. So I'm probably going to just cut this off right there, and we'll mount the firewall and do a little doctoring right there. No big deal, guys. We'll get into that in the next one. I've gone ahead and put the chassis, a lot of the suspension together, because it's all supposed to be aluminum, kind of aluminum colored anyway. And you see the coilover shocks. The brakes, I'll show you that. They're primed right now. Now, the stock suspension, or not suspension, exhaust, you can see where the mounting holes were all the way back. And what I did was I just took and my sprue cutters, and I took the actual exhaust system, and where those were to plug in, I just cut off the pins and then glued them into place, and then put some Tamiya extra thin all around that so it would kind of melt it in like a putty. And I'll go back and I'll cut all these off and sand everything smooth so we don't have those holes in the chassis. Now this one right here is for the rear end, where that'll sit down in there too. So we'll let that dry overnight, and then I'll clean that up, and we'll probably get some primer on it. And by the way, I prime every single part of a model. Every part. If you'll treat each and every individual part of a model like it's a model, and you want to worry about paint flaws or anything like that most of the time, In my case, I would say 99% of the time. So think about that. Front end looks really good. There's no real modifications need to be made here. Same thing with the rear end. I am thinking about opening the trunk, and I know I'm getting out of hand. I probably won't, but I am considering it. And you can see, as I usually do, I took my Sharpie, and where there's flaws in the body, I went back and filled those in. Here's the injection or the mold lines from the manufacturer. Those need to be sanded off. The side view mirrors, there aren't any on this drag car or any of the drag pack cars, so I'm going to remove that little hump right there that they normally would mount down on. And again, those mold lines. And if I open the trunk, it's going to be really simple, because when you open the trunk and then this rear piece fits on, you've got part of the inside lip there. There is going to be a little bit of work I'm going to have to do. You notice right here, you see where that's sticking out? It doesn't fit flush in, and there's not a tab, and we'll get it when we get to that. I'll show you how we're gonna fix that, and it's really not that hard to fix. And as I recall, it does that on the other side too. Something I haven't looked at yet, and we'll look at it together when we get to the a rear view of the car. These exhaust things, I may fill those in because I don't think those are on the actual car. Yeah, you see how this sticks out over here too? That needs to be flush with the body, and that's not a big deal to fix either. And I have not checked the front end. I'm pretty sure it's okay. Sometimes these things just in the box, fresh out of the mold, can be a little bit of a issue. That one's okay. Well, we'll deal with that later. Next up, the console. There's going to be switches. A lot of this stuff that you see that I've got black around, I'm going to smooth all of that off. If you look, this is at a slight upward angle. So I'm going to take all of that off, and then I'll have a panel laid across this with either switches or something on it. And the same thing for the dash. We'll be filling in the heater and air conditioning vents. And remember, we're going to have some switches and some other instrument kind of stuff in here, so we'll cut all of that out too. And that'll be for the next up. Engine components, I've got everything assembled in their sub-assemblies, and you see they're in primer already. And I'll take everything off the sprue, that way I don't have to touch up anything. But you know what? Do it the way you're comfortable with it, however you like to do it. It's just me. The seats, radiator, the front seats, got those assembled. I had to do some trimming up on those. And there's a few flaws in the molding that I'm going to have to touch up. You see right here and right here, that's actually in the casting. Overall, not too bad, but I am going to be working those a little bit more too. Intake and oil pan, and I'm going to be modifying that intake a little bit more too. All of that's in primer, as well as the rear ends, part of the steering wheel, other engine components, the disc brakes, one side of those, all that. So we'll get all of this stuff finished, primed on the other side, and we'll start getting into the modifications. When we come back, the chassis, the interior pan will be modified, and we'll start working on that roll cage that you'll see here in just a few minutes in the pictures. So as I go out, guys, that's where we are. And take a look at these pictures of the drag pack Garlett's car. And any ideas or suggestions, let me know. Guys, God bless you. Have an awesome, awesome week. We will see you in the next video.